some mysteries refuse to stay buried. They linger, unanswered, haunting the living and stirring the imagination of generations. From vanished planes in the sky to bodies left behind with clues too cryptic to decipher, these tales chill us to our core, reminding us that not everything in this world can be explained. Tonight, we journey into 4 of the world's most perplexing unsolved mysteries. These are stories of disappearance, death, and secrets buried deep, waiting for answers that may never come. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. In January 1959, 9 experienced hikers led by Igor Dyatlov set out on an ambitious trek through the Ural Mountains of Russia. What began as an adventure turned into a nightmare that still chills investigators and mystery enthusiasts alike. Weeks later, rescuers found their tent ripped open from the inside. Scattered across the snow were the bodies of Dyatlov and his companions, some in only socks or underwear. The scene hinted at sheer terror. Why had they fled into the freezing night without proper clothing? The condition of their bodies was equally baffling. While some succumbed to hypothermia, others bore internal injuries so severe they were likened to a car crash's force, yet with no external wounds. One woman was missing her tongue and eyes, adding a macabre element to the tragedy. Many theories have been put forward, each more chilling than the last. Some suggest an avalanche scared them into fleeing, but why the cuts from within their tent? Others point to Soviet military tests, possibly a missile or weapon, gone wrong, but the evidence remains inconclusive. There are those who claim the answer lies beyond our understanding. Paranormal enthusiasts have suggested everything from alien encounters to strange infrasound waves that induced uncontrollable panic. In 2020, a new investigation revived the theory of a rare slab-style avalanche, but not all experts agree. The Dyatlov Pass Incident is a haunting reminder of nature's power, human fragility, and the mysteries that refuse to let go. The Hinterkaifeck murders. Picture a quiet German farm in 1922, surrounded by thick woods and isolated from the nearest village. It was here, at Hinterkaifeck, that a horrific and unsolved massacre unfolded. Andreas Gruber, the patriarch, had reported hearing strange noises around the property, footsteps in the attic, unfamiliar footprints in the snow. But despite the warnings, he stayed put. One night, the entire Gruber family, including their maid, was brutally murdered with a mattock, a type of farming tool. Disturbingly, whoever killed them stayed on the farm. Neighbors later reported seeing smoke rising from the chimney and animals being fed. When the bodies were discovered days later, the details horrified investigators. The killer had meticulously dragged and concealed each victim in the barn, while food had been prepared in the kitchen. There were no clear motives, no theft, no ransom, and no signs of an obvious grudge. Over 100 suspects were questioned, including former lovers, disgruntled workers, and shady neighbors. Some believed it was an inside job, others speculated it was a madman from afar. But every lead turned cold. The Hinterkaifeck murders were never solved, and the farm was torn down a year later. But the legend of its haunted legacy still endures. How did an entire family fall victim to such calculated terror, and why did the killer linger so calmly afterward? To this day, we may never know. The disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. On the morning of March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, heading for Beijing. It was an ordinary flight on a routine path, but it would become one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history. Less than an hour after takeoff, communication with the aircraft abruptly ceased. Radar showed that the plane suddenly deviated from its course, flying west across the Malaysian peninsula and then disappearing into the vast Indian Ocean. The disappearance sparked an international search operation, making headlines around the globe. The first critical clue came when satellite handshakes revealed a possible flight path deep into the southern Indian Ocean. Years of intense searching turned up scattered fragments, like a wing flap that washed up on the shores of distant islands. But to this day, the main wreckage has never been recovered. Speculation about the cause of the disappearance has been rampant. Was it a mechanical failure, an act of terrorism, or something else entirely? Investigators have looked at every angle, including the mental health of the pilots. Captain Zaharie Ahmad Shah, in particular, has been scrutinized, as data suggested he may have directed the plane on its final trajectory. But without conclusive evidence, this remains speculation. Some believe MH370 was hijacked, possibly by rogue passengers or an unknown third party. Others think it suffered a catastrophic failure and pilot error. Conspiracy theories have run wild too, suggesting espionage, hidden military operations, or even supernatural explanations. For the families of the passengers, there's been no closure, just a painful, lingering uncertainty. As of today, we still don't know what truly happened on that flight, and until more of the wreckage is found, the fate of the 239 people on board will continue to haunt us. The mystery of the Somerton Man. It was a warm December morning in 1948 when an unidentified man was found dead on Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia. He lay propped against a seawall, dressed in a suit and tie, with no obvious signs of trauma or struggle. His face was serene, as if he had simply fallen asleep. Authorities were perplexed. His clothing labels were missing, and he carried no identification. The only clue found on him was a scrap of paper in a hidden pocket bearing two mysterious words, Tamam Shud. The phrase, meaning finished or ended in Persian, was linked to the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a book of poetry. Shortly after, a man came forward with a copy of the book that contained a peculiar code scrawled on its back cover, seemingly gibberish to everyone who examined it. In a country where espionage tensions ran high during the Cold War, whispers of a spy's death began circulating. Did the Somerton Man know secrets that cost him his life? A woman was later linked to the case when police found her phone number inside the book. When confronted, she reacted with visible shock but refused to speak further. Her identity was eventually revealed as Jessica Thompson, who denied knowing the deceased. However, some believed she knew far more than she let on. Decades later, DNA testing suggested potential familial ties, yet the man's true identity and how he met his end remain elusive. Was he a lost lover, a victim of revenge, or a pawn in a larger conspiracy? The truth of the Somerton Man lies buried, perhaps forever, beneath layers of intrigue and unanswered questions. These stories remain etched in the shadows of history, unsolved, unexplained, and unforgettable. They challenge what we know and remind us of how much we still don't understand. For every answer we seek, countless questions arise, leaving us with mysteries that continue to haunt the living and baffle even the brightest minds. Will we ever uncover the full truth behind these enigmas, or will they forever remain tales that chill us to the bone? The search for answers continues, but for now, all we can do is wonder. Thank you for joining us in exploring the unknown. If you enjoyed this journey into mystery, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more stories that leave you questioning what you thought you knew. Stay curious and stay haunted.